Hey guys, I'm back. We are going to start having some interesting discussions starting the month of October. And we're going to start with this episode right here, where we will be learning the dark meanings behind some of our favorite nursery rhymes. For me, it's fascinating. And it begins. We're going to start dark, lighten things up, and then get dark again. Here we go. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. This is one of those nursery rhymes that we all know. However, it is probably the darkest rhyme on our list today. This specific nursery rhyme is actually about the bubonic plague. You know, the one that wreaked havoc on England from 1346 to 1352? Yeah. The specific line, pocket full of posies, is regarding the posies people would stuff in their pockets to stop the smell of the dead bodies that were starting to pile up. The ashes referred to the ashes of the bodies that they were burning. A whopping 20% of the world's population was wiped out during the plague. Sound familiar? Didn't we just go through something similar to this in 2020? Just saying. History repeats itself. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Supposedly, this rhyme is about King Richard III, who went into the Battle of Bosworth, fell off his horse, and was chopped into pieces by his rivals. You can't fix that. Just saying, you can't fix that. Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. The original of that song was printed with the following footnote. This may serve as a warning to the proud and ambitious who climb so high that they generally fall at last. Now, this warning led most people to believe the rhyme was about how James the Catholic had a son named James the Seventh smuggled into the birthing chamber to give him an heir. The wind is in reference to James's family coming in to overthrow Lil Jr., with the cradle being a reference to the royal house. Now, there's also belief that it is referencing stillborn babies being put in baskets that would hang from the branches of the trees to see if they would come back to life. If the bough broke, the baby was considered gone for good. You think? That bough breaks, that baby's hitting the ground. They're not going to survive that. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. It has been long assumed that Jack and Jill are no other than France's King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. Louis was beheaded, or lost his crown, in 1797, with Marie following a mere 10 months later. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. This rhyme ain't pretty, people. This rhyme is based on Queen Mary the First, also known as Bloody Mary. Fun little fact, Queen Mary the First was nicknamed Bloody Mary for all of the executions she ordered during her 5-year reign. Contrary is meant as a description for her style of leadership, while how does your garden grow is actually poking fun at her inability to produce an heir. Silver bells and cockle shells, instead of flowers, are actually euphemisms for torture devices used on some of the 300 plus Protestants she persecuted. Pretty maids all in a row was referencing all the bodies left in her wake, as well as her many miscarriages. This little piggy went to the market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. And this little piggy cried, wee, 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 all the way home. This one I used to break down to my oldest when he was a baby and couldn't really understand what I was saying. And I did it as comic relief. I have dark humor. I use it to my advantage. And I try to be unique. I thought I was being unique. Apparently I'm not. Because other people also, they understood. They may not have broke it down to their children, but they understood it. The first little piggy went to slaughter. The second little piggy stayed home because he wasn't fat enough. The third little piggy ate roast beef, because pigs will eat anything. And this little piggy had none, because you don't typically feed a pig the day you're going to slaughter it. The fifth little piggy cried wee, 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 because he realized what was happening. Alright, that last part was probably not true, but I had to think of something funny. And that's what I always told my son. This one we're going to start a little backward. The original 1, 2, buckle my shoe doesn't really have a dark meaning. But it became even more popular after A Nightmare on Elm Street, when the rhyme was rewritten as 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock the door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again. I have a cousin-in-law who hates that. And I try to do that as creepily as I can, but my voice is monotoned and this is what you get. Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane? Well, this nursery rhyme was actually meant as a warning for the children in England. Apparently, the Muffin Man on Drury Lane is actually the Drury Lane butcher named Frederick Thomas Linwood, who murdered at least 15 children between 1589 and 1598 by luring them into the alley with a muffin tied to a string. So, how many of these did you guys know? Do you know any good ones that I left out? And are you going to explain the dark history of nursery rhymes to your children? Obviously not as they're younger, but as they grow and have questions? Or are you going to leave it innocent? I would love for you to join me on the True Crime and Whatnot Facebook page on Wednesdays around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I attempt to do live streams to connect with anyone who wants to chat directly with me. I also have created a Discord page and a Twitter page. On Twitter, you can follow me at tan12830. That's the @ symbol TAN12830. And on Discord, you can follow me at turkeybabe33. You can't miss that one. The profile picture is the same as our cover art photo for the podcast. Please, guys, make sure that you are liking or subscribing or following the podcast wherever you listen to it. It doesn't cost anything for you to follow me or subscribe at this point. And if you do that, you can be informed first whenever a new episode arrives. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that. Thank you guys so much for your support. And until next time, stay true and whatnot. Later.